Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson. We're going to start a new study today, a study that I'm naming Matriarch. We're going to look at the women in the book of Genesis. We're going to start today with Sarah. I know we could start with Eve and talk about her, and probably I should have, but I really want to focus on the matriarchs who are the women in the lives of the patriarchs and who make possible the lives of the patriarchs. Um, and so we're going to start with Sarah, who is the, the 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 first female person we meet in the Bible who we really come to know. She's really fully communicated to us as a person. We get to know a great deal about her personality. And the Bible certainly calls attention to Sarah in in Hebrews chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11 is where we're going to begin in terms of the Hall of Fame of Faith, that list of people who in their lives demonstrate faith. And we look at verses 8 through 20 through 19, excuse me, and we think of it as Abraham's passage, but it's Abraham and Sarah's passage, and the conceiving of Isaac in her advanced years is mentioned specifically as an act of faith on Sarah's part. And of course, we know about her doubting. That's why using her as an example of faith is so powerful, because we know that when she was 90 years old and God informed Abraham under the oak of Mamre that his wife would have given birth at the same time next year. She laughed at that. So the fact that Sarah is used as an example in Hebrews chapter 11 of faith is an amazing thing that we need to think about. Also, in First Peter chapter 3, when Peter gives his house his his um, his house rules, when he talks about the way a Christian home should be conducted. And he uses Sarah as the ultimate example of wifely submission to her husband. That's an important thing to think about as well. We're going to come back to that passage later on as we look at the life of Sarah, because Sarah is not a shy, retiring violet of a woman. She's a woman who often demands her way and gets her way. Um, and we'll see that as we talk about her. And yet, we also see her as a woman who was submissive to her husband's spiritual leadership and followed that leadership. And at times, followed his leadership when it was not quite spiritual. We'll see that too. But the New Testament uses her as an example of faith and submission. And so we're going to be looking at how she is those things in in our study of her. So Abraham and Sarah are people we meet in Genesis chapter 12 when God calls Abraham to leave the most advanced city of the day, um, uh, which is Ur of the Sumerians, the Chaldeans, the Sumerians. He's a very he's a very wealthy man. We actually meet him at the end of chapter 11. He's a very wealthy man, and he enjoys that wealth along with his family in the protection of this major city and this stable nation, Sumer. And God says, "No, I want you to leave. Take everything you possess, and I want you to leave. And I want you to go someplace that I'll show you, and I'll let you know where it is when you get there." And so he says, "Go forth from your country, from your relatives, from your father's house to a land I will show you, and I will make a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, so you shall be a blessing, and I will bless those who bless you, and the one who curses you I will curse, and in you all the families of the earth will be blessed." This is the first primary covenant given in the Bible. There's a covenant with Noah that we enjoy. We will enjoy temporarily because the earth is temporary. This promise is the promise that will bring Jesus about. And it is as much with Sarah as it is with Abraham. Sarah, Sarai, when we meet her in Genesis chapter 11, God changes her name when he changes Abraham's name, by the way, uh, as a rank and honor. Anyway, Sarai is Abraham's wife. She's also his half sister. So that's going to play an important role in the unfolding of the information, that we're going to have about her. I just want to talk about for the next minute or two the terms of their journey. She's gone from being a rich woman in a major city and a stable nation to being a wanderer. And if we think that Abraham didn't need protection and security, we find out in the unfolding of the story that he had his own security force of more than 300 men that were raised up in his household and who were trained to be a security force, and that he uses as a security force. There is the fear because they are toting their wealth along in the form of animals wherever they go. And that fear prompts Abraham because he's afraid of Sarah's great beauty. She's evidently a woman of amazing beauty. Kings take notice of her. Even in her old age, they take notice of her and her beauty. And on at least two occasions, it seems this may have happened multiple times, um, Abraham tells the lie that Sarah is his sister, not his wife, because he's afraid of his life. He's afraid not that Pharaoh or Abimelech will take his animals. He's afraid they're going to take Sarah from him and kill him in the process so that she can be free to wed because she's such a beautiful woman. And on two occasions mentioned in the Bible, uh, with Pharaoh in Egypt, um, and also with Abimelech. And of course, this happens with Pharaoh in Egypt immediately in chapter 12. Later on in chapter 20, many years later, with Abimelech, um, these kings take Sarah and put her in their harem, and God has to intervene because she's going to be the mother of the child of promise, and there can be no question about who the father is. And Abraham tells Abimelech in chapter 20 that this has been their deal that they made when they went on the road. Um, Abraham said, "Because I thought surely there's no fear of God in this place, he'll kill me because of my wife. Besides, she actually is my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife. And it came about when God caused me to wander in my father's house. I said to her, this is the kindness which you will show to me. Everywhere you will go, say of me, he is my brother. They've been doing this from the beginning. And she has followed along with it. It was not easy to be Sarah. I mean, it was not easy to be Sarah. To leave a sedentary and pleasant life in a walled city with in a stable country to become a wanderer and then to be at risk everywhere you go, to have your own security force, and then to have your husband lie and get you to collude in the lie to save his own life, and to end up in a harem of a man who's not your husband more than once, and to have God Himself have to rescue you. It's not easy for Sarah to be Sarah. So as we talk about her life, let's not think of her as a pampered rich woman, but as a woman of faith who had to have a great deal of faith and courage and strength to live the life that she lived. Okay, we'll talk about Sarah, the child of promise, and Hagar next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.